Hello children, welcome back. Hope you all are fine there. I am fine here. So we had completed 2 important lessons on last session. In this current situation, we are compelled to continuing our classroom and we are compelled to change our normal classroom into this Google Classroom platform. By using available resources, we can together make it successful. In this month of June, I am decided to take a new unit, that is biology and human welfare. How biology can help for the welfare of human being. We can discuss those different types of topics. So in that unit, there are 3 chapters. First chapter, human health and diseases. Second one, strategies in enhancement for the production of food. And the last chapter, microbes in human welfare. Okay, so we can start with the first unit or first chapter, that is human health and diseases. So first in today's session we can discuss the different types of diseases and disease causing organisms. A wide range of organisms belonging to bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoan, helminths, etc. could cause diseases in man. Such disease-causing organisms are called pathogens. So all parasites are therefore pathogens as they cause harm to the host by living in or on them. So the pathogens can enter to your body by various means. It can multiply and interfere with normal vital activities, resulting in morphological functions damage. Pathogens have to adapt to live within the environment of the host. For example, the pathogen that enter the gut must know a way of surviving in the stomach at low pH and resisting the various digestive enzymes. Okay, so no need to explain more about pathogen nowadays, right? Nowadays the viruses, the coronavirus is a nightmare for all of us, right children? So we are starting with bacteria. So the first example we have to discuss is Salmonella typhi. It's a pathogenic bacterium which causes typhoid fever in human beings. I know you're familiar with the term typhoid fever, right? These pathogens generally enter the small intestine through food and water contaminated with them and migrate to other organs through food. So sustained high fever, about 39 to 40 degrees Celsius, weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache, and loss of appetite are some of the common symptoms of this disease. Intestinal perforation and death may occur in severe cases. Okay, and we can confirm this type of fever by vital test. And during our class period, I don't know you are remembering the term lady's name, that is Mary Mellon. She was nicknamed as Typhoid Mary. She was a cook by profession and was a typhoid carrier who continued to spread typhoid for several years through the food she prepared. You just Google Typhoid Mary. Okay children? And the next disease is pneumonia. It is caused by a bacteria, Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenza. Okay, so pneumonia in human which infects the alveoli, that is airway sacs of the lungs. As a result of the infection, the alveoli get filled with fluid, leading to severe problems in respiration. And the symptoms include fever, chills, cough and headache. In severe cases, the lips and fingernails may turn grey to bluish in color. Okay, and a healthy person acquires the infection by inhaling the droplets or aerosol released by an infected person or even by sharing glasses and utensils with the infected person. Clear? And along with these diseases, dysentery, plague, diphtheria, etc. are other bacterial disease in man. Okay. Next pathogen is virus or nightmare. Right children? Many viruses also cause diseases in human beings. Rhinoviruses represent one such group of viruses which cause one of the most infectious human ailments, the common cold. They infect the nose and respiratory passage but not the lungs. But coronavirus will affect lungs, right? The common cold is characterized by nasal congestion and discharge, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache, tiredness, etc., which usually lasts for 3 to 7 days. And usually after 3 to 7 days, the effect of viruses will move on. Droplets resulting from cough or sneeze of an infected person are either inhaled directly or transmitted through contaminated objects such as pens, books, cups, doorknobs, computer keyboards, or mouse, etc., and cause infection in a healthy person. Next, we are moving to protozoan. Some of the human diseases are caused by protozoan too. The most familiar one is malaria. So, malaria, even though the vectors, the carrying agents are female Anopheles mosquito, the disease-causing organism is protozoan, that is Plasmodium species. Okay, it's a tiny protozoan. There are 3 different species of Plasmodium. First one is vivax, Plasmodium vivax. Plasmodium malaria, the second one, and the third one, Plasmodium falciparum. The third one, Plasmodium falciparum, is malignant malaria. That means if once this protozoan entered to the human body, it should be a fatal disease. That means it causes death. Okay, so let's take a glance at the life cycle of Plasmodium. Children, the Plasmodium completes its life cycle in 2 hosts. The first host is its own the vector, that is mosquito, and the second host is human beings. Okay. The Plasmodium enters the human body as sporocyte, that means in the infectious form, through the bite of infected female Anopheles mosquito. The parasites initially multiply within the liver cell and then attack the RBC, resulting in their rupture. The rupture of RBC is associated with release of toxic substance, that is hemozoin. This is a toxic substance released into the human body, which is responsible for the chill and high fever recurring every 3 to 4 hours. Okay, so like that, a normal person become infected person. Clear, children? And we can discuss another condition, that is when a female Anopheles mosquito bites an infected person, these parasites enter the mosquito's body and undergo further development. The parasite multiply within them to form sporocytes that are stored in their salivary gland. Clear? So when this mosquito bite a human, the sporocytes are introduced into his or her body, thereby initiating the events. So the same diagram is there in our textbook, right? So we can start from this picture. So here, this is a normal person. When the mosquito bite, the mosquito is carrying Plasmodium. Okay, so when the mosquito bites a human, the sporocytes will be there in salivary gland, and through saliva it will be injected to the person. So what happened to him? So the parasite, that means the form of sporocytes, infectious sporocyte, reach the liver through blood. And in his liver, the parasite reproduce sexually. So sexual reproduction happening in human host. Okay, in liver cells, bursting the cells and releasing into the blood. Okay, now the blood of a normal person is filled with the sporocyte. So the parasite reproduces sexually in red blood cells, bursting the red blood cell and causing cycles of fever and other symptoms. Released to parasite infect new red blood cells and sexual stages. That means both the female gametophyte and male gametophyte develop in red blood cells. And now in this condition, the body of that infected person will be having the toxic substance too. Clear, children? Then, when this mosquito bites this infected person, this gametocytes, both male and female gametophyte, will enter into the mosquito's body, and fertilization and development takes place in mosquito's intestine. Clear? So, sexual reproduction takes place in mosquito's body, whereas sexual reproduction taking place in human's body. Okay, and this mature infectious stage is sporocyte escape from the intestine of mosquito and migrate to the mosquito's salivary gland, and again the same mosquito when bite a normal person, the infection, that means the protozoan enter to his body and he become patient, a malaria affected person. Clear, children? Same diagram again, same diagram we can see here. So here I will give you this picture along with the notes. So what happened? The transmission to human, Then what happened? The sporocytes enter liver and infect hematocytes. Liver cells rupture and merozoites release. Then inter-erythrocytic cycles, rupture of RBC. Then at the fourth stage, sexual cycles happen in mosquito's body. Then transmission to mosquito, and this mosquito again, if it bites on a normal person, he will become an infected person. Clear? It's an important question. Okay, most of the question paper you can see this question. Most of the diagram based questions will come from this area. Okay, next we can move to another disease, that is amoebiasis. It's again a protozoan disease. Disease causing organism is Entamoeba histolytica. It's a protozoan parasite, large intestine of human, which cause amoebiasis or amoebic dysentery. Symptoms are constipation, abdominal pain, cramps, stool with excess mucus, and blood clots. Houseflies act as mechanical carrier and serve to transmit the parasite from feces of infected person to food and food products, thereby contaminating them. Okay, drinking water and food contaminated by the fecal matter are the main source of infection. Then next one is ascariasis. Ascaris, that organism is there in our laboratory. Both the male and female organisms are there. Remember, children? Ascaris, the common round worm, Schimmelminthes, round Wuchereria, the filarial worm are some of the helminths which are known to be pathogenic to man. Okay, and Ascaris is an intestinal parasite that causes ascariasis. Symptoms are internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of the intestinal passage. The eggs of the parasites are excreted along with feces of infected person, which contaminate soil, water, and plant, etc. A healthy person acquires this infection through contaminated water, vegetable, fruits, etc. Okay. Another one is elephantiasis or filariasis, which is caused by two species of Wuchereria, that is Wuchereria bancrofti and Wuchereria malai. Okay, developing chronic inflammation of the organs which they live for many years. Usually the lymphatic vessels are affected. The genital organs are also affected, resulting in gross deformities. The pathogen are transmitted to a healthy person through the bite by the female mosquito vector. So the same diagram is there in our textbook. This is an elephantiasis infected person. Okay. The last category is fungus. Many fungus belong to genera Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton are responsible for ringworms, which is one of the most common infectious diseases in man. Appearance of dry scaly lesions on various parts of the body, such as skin, nails, and scalp, are the main symptoms of the disease. These lesions are accompanied by intense itching, okay, and heat and moisture help these fungi to grow, which make them thrive in skin folds such as those in groin or between the toes. Okay, ringworms are generally acquired from soil or by using towel, clothes, or even the comb of infected individuals. The same diagram is there in our textbook. Okay, so that is about disease causing organisms and their mode of infection, symptoms of disease, etc. The point of view of theory, practical examination, this part is very important, because the last session, that means the spotted set area, you can find a question, 4 or 5 disease causing organism will be exhibited. You have to identify the disease causing organism, you have to write notes on the symptoms, and you have to write notes on the diseases. Okay, so this area is very important.